Understanding what I'm about to tell you is going to have a lot of implications once you contemplate it fully. Once you really absorb what I'm about to say, it will change your perspective on life if it's something that you don't already understand. And this is the relationship between your thoughts, your emotions, and the world around you, and how this relationship isn't as straightforward as you would think. And it's actually really, really pretty crazy when you dive into it. Basically, your thoughts are not the problem. When you're anxious or when you have these negative emotions, you get lost in your thoughts and then you think to yourself, oh, these thoughts are really serious. I need to take these thoughts seriously, or you unconsciously think this. And so you indulge in these thought patterns and you try to think your way out of a negative situation. You try to rationalize it. You try to do all these mental gymnastics to be able to stop feeling this negative emotion. What if I told you that was completely futile? I mean, I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. It just doesn't work. You can't think your way into a good mood. You can try your best, but it just doesn't work. What's actually happening is your emotions are coming up and your thoughts are distracting you from the emotions themselves. So emotions are very, very powerful, like sensations that just basically course through our body. They always have a physical element to them. And what your thoughts do is it takes away some of the oomph behind your emotions. You distract yourself using your thoughts and your rationalizations to explain away all these different sensations you're feeling in your body. So if you're anxious, you're going to be feeling probably a tightness around your chest area near your heart, or maybe a sinking feeling. And that feeling is so strong that what you are actually habitually doing is going into your thoughts to stop feeling it. And we don't realize we're doing this, but this is exactly what we're doing. And so what you can do in that situation, rather than just get lost in your thoughts, is pay attention to the sensations fully without distracting yourself. And they will be uncomfortable for sure. But something crazy happens when you actually pay attention to those physical sensations in your body. They just naturally go away, they melt away, and some take longer than others. It's not an instant cure, but you'd be surprised, like within 5 minutes of just paying attention to that sinking feeling in your heart, you will notice that it just disappears. And then what happens is the thoughts stop appearing in your mind. So we think that we feel emotions, and then because we have these thoughts in our mind, we feel these emotions, or we're getting really, really stuck on these thoughts, and that's what's causing our pain. But it's actually the other way around. Your emotions are what cause your thoughts. So if you have a fearful sensation in your body, that's going to cause hundreds and maybe even thousands of fearful thoughts in your mind. But it's all physical. And you need to redirect your attention from just this conceptual thinking about everything. And you need to actually bring it back to the body, how you feel. That is where the root is. The thoughts are only a symptom. But this understanding has a lot of implications as well once you start understanding what emotions are and how they relate to external events. So you might think that something happens outside of you and that's why you feel anxious, and that you need to think through how to fix that external problem, whatever it may be in your situation. So this isn't the case. And I know this sounds insane, but this actually isn't how emotions work. What emotions are like are they're dormant feelings that have been suppressed, repressed, and just not analyzed for majority of your life, most likely. So if you keep suppressing these, they kind of bubble down into your psyche basically. You have a lot of fear, anxiety in your psyche that has gone unexamined. And so what happens actually is your emotions are laying dormant, and then an outside event happens, and then the emotions come up, and you use that outside event as a rationalization and a justification for actually feeling the emotions that you're feeling. But the outside event actually doesn't have anything to do with the emotions you're feeling in the truest sense. Someone, just to give an example so it gets a bit concrete. I know it can sound kind of conceptual and all over the place, but we're going to get concrete. Someone that has dealt with a lot of fear, that has shown awareness to a lot of fear and processed a lot of their fears, haven't escaped. Outside events aren't going to trigger them in the same way that it might trigger you. To give like a very concrete, easy to understand example, let's say someone texts you like, hey, something like that. Okay, wait, that's actually a bit ominous. Let's do another example. So let's say that somebody just types with lowercase letters, like, hey, like, depending on what emotions are suppressed, some people can even see that as just like, oh my God, that could be bad. I know it might sound ridiculous to some of you, but others might relate. Like, or just like saying like, okay, dot, whatever it is, just text are kind of bad examples, but you get the point. What I'm trying to say is there's an infinite number of interpretations of a given action, quote unquote, outside of yourself. And this means that your interpretation isn't some objective fact about reality, but just is completely determined by the beliefs and the emotions that you hold within yourself. And when you really think about this, when you really contemplate this, when it really sinks in, you begin to realize that there is no such thing as an outside event. There is no event that happens outside of you. Every single thing is completely contained within your awareness, within yourself. And that nothing outside of you can actually cause you any fear. I know this sounds weird, but just stay with me for a second. Nothing that happens outside of you can't be processed within you, if you get what I'm saying. So if you feel fear because of an outside thing, that fear is happening within you, and you can actually let go and deal with that fear by yourself. And so you have complete control, in a sense, over what affects you. And another thing that you should really pay attention to next time you feel one of these strong emotions, there will be a belief running in your mind that this is how you should be acting in this moment. So when someone messages you some ambiguous message, or let's say you're waiting for a reply from a job that you applied to, and you're feeling really anxious, there will be a part of you, a part of your mind that says to you that you should be feeling anxious because of this circumstance. Like, of course, it's normal for me to feel anxious. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what's going to happen. My future's uncertain, this or that. That's a script that's running in your mind. And what this does is it's another rationalization of the emotion that you're feeling. But if you let go of this rationalization, you realize that you don't actually have to feel that way. You've just been wanting to feel that way, or you've been programmed to feel that way. You can get rid of that programming and actually feel completely calm about the whole situation. You don't actually have to feel this way. You can face the feeling of anxiety and let it go. And to talk more about how to actually do this. So I've given like a conceptual understanding of what's going on with your thoughts or emotions, and these outside events. But how do you actually let go of an emotion? So you need to bring it back to the body. So we're all up in our heads thinking about all these thoughts. Just simply pay attention to the sensations that are happening in your body. Where do you feel this emotion? What does it feel like? And don't judge it to be good or bad. This is key. You have to simply observe it without wanting to change it or running away from this. And I know this can be really hard, especially if you're not used to meditating or detaching from your emotions or thoughts. But trust me, if you can just even experience it once of just simply letting things be as they are, and you can because you have the ability to do this, you will be shocked at how quickly some emotions just completely melt away and they just stop. They just move on to whatever the next emotion is. And it's almost always a lighter emotion. So it might turn from anxiety to, it could even turn into excitement, or it could just turn from anxiety to peace. So that's what's been happening a lot in my case, where I feel this tension, I pay attention to it, and then it just dissolves. So yeah, try it for yourself, experientially confirm what I'm saying. Don't just believe what I'm saying. Actually try to let go of your emotions. And by try, I mean just sit there and watch them and don't try to change them. Imagine them as just these, like anthropomorphize them a little bit. Just imagine they're just their own individual entity. These sensations are just their own thing. And all you're doing is watching over them kindly and you're not trying to do anything. It's not good or bad. It's just feelings. Okay, so that's about it for me. That's what I wanted to share. Hopefully this insight blew your mind like it blew my mind. And yes, just final takeaway, your thoughts are painless. They don't do anything really. They're rationalizations for emotions you're feeling within your body, and the outside events aren't really outside events. They're internal events. They're internal events which we've rationalized to seem like external events. So that's about it. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. And for now, peace and love.